Um, just let some people funnel in, and I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna get the stream for this. I'm gonna finish. Yes, I know. Bold play, bold strategy. First, I'm gonna make like some sort of witty intro, so be ready. Um, hold on, just need to. What I was saying is that one of these things that we're gonna be looking at, you do not um yeah, you're gonna know. You're gonna know. You're gonna know. Um, where do we last leave off on? I forgot. It's been so long. I want to sing. Can I sing? Wait. Um, burn them all, and then I think as family rebuild is yes. Okay. So we finished the timeline. That's good. We finished the timeline. Okay, so we're going up until here. Icehold ruin. Okay, I know what to do. Did people funnel in yet? I'm just gonna share the link to this live stream to two different friend groups, just so at least somebody can funnel in. At least somebody. I'm gonna. I know I do this, but where's the chat button? I like to do this. I like to do this. Also, little disclaimer. I usually have my stream chat on my phone, or at least I started doing that now. So, if I ignore you, Twitch, I'm sorry, but Twitch is not on my phone. For YouTube, I have nothing to apologize for, unless if I become cringe, then make your own cringe compilation. I dare you. Send me down. I almost made a reference to one of the YouTuber songs that we're going to be reacting to. Oh, we're already 4 minutes and without an intro. Hold on. Hold on. I'll be back. We are gonna have an actual interesting intro and not just me venting to you guys. Okay. Time to start another stream. Let me just make sure my hair and everything else is perfect. And oh, I didn't see you there. If you couldn't tell by the title, we are going to be reacting to stuff that I missed while I didn't have a computer. And if you couldn't tell, one of the stuff that we're going to be reacting to, I'm subscribed to this one YouTuber that mainly does roleplay. No, I mean, now my brain shut down. That does cosplay. I knew that was something ending in play. I just didn't know which one, or at least I forgot. Okay, my brain is not working right now. Probably is fried because of the stress from the hurricane. And yes, this is what you do when there's a hurricane approaching your area. Do a stream. That's exactly what you do, guys. That's exactly what you do. You don't stress for preparing. You just do a stream. Oh, don't follow that advice. Do not follow that advice. But yeah. Anyways, if you couldn't tell, um, that cosplay YouTuber has a new song. Um, if you couldn't tell about who I was trying to imitate, this song is about a specific character, and I was trying to imitate that character. If you couldn't tell, then let's get into the song so you can know who I was trying to imitate. You think you're better than me? Also, I just said one of the voice lines, so that should help you out. Okay, it's up. Yeah, I was just looking at my phone with the stream, okay? Anyways, here's the first song. Of course, I'm on my main account, so you may see some chaos. Chaos. No, this song is Better by Netcode the Fox, and apparently it's a Roxanne Wolf song. Now I know this I know how the internet is with Roxanne Wolf and Toy Chica. And all I have to say is, I did not take this out of context, down. Freaking. Okay, I can't say anything bad about. I. Let's continue before I embarrass.
Alright then. So you think you're better than let's just see. I know you're weak and you've got no one to save you and you're all alone. I mean, honestly, God, you're such a wannabe. You think you can best me? You think you can test me? Do you think I'm gonna give you number one? Don't for everyone. So start and hear them roar. Feel the adrenaline.
I just want to say already, how much research do they put into the game? This fits Roxanne Wolf. How much research? This fits her egotistical parts. This fits her part on wanting to on actually being good at racing. Now all we need is a part that actually this is the FNAF community for what they make about Roxanne Wolf. And yes, everybody knows about that. And if you don't, then don't search it up.
Through your body, leaving, can't escape it. It's in your core. What are you waiting for? Hey boy, if you wanna keep up, don't fall behind. Hey boy, no one likes a loser who cries. So get up. You'll never be the one to overtake. I bet you have friends to carry the
The use of the voice lines. The use of the voice lines. Oh my god. The use of the voice lines. The use of the voice lines. Oh. So Chad, if you don't know, I don't really have FNAF security breach yet, but I do know a bunch about the game. Oh my god, the use of the voice lines. What? So they know how to use the voice lines in their song, and they also wait. I think that this is supposed to be made during during security breach, not during ruin. This is during ruin. This is not tied to ruin, unless they're gonna reference Cassie or Hold on. Um, how the hell do I make a poll on phone? I do not know. Okay, but yeah. Um, honestly, think that they're gonna reference. I would have to say carrot cake most likely because I doubt they want to say the name. I doubt they want to talk about Cassia. And speaking of Cassie, spoiler alert for another song that we're gonna be reacting to. YouTuber haven't really listened to their songs in a while, so this will be fun. And also by in a while, I mean listen to any of their new songs. I'm pretty sure the last song that I listened to them for them was a security breach one. I forgot if it was either Gregory, Roxy, or Freddie. Okay. Anyways, let's just continue. We're getting off topic, but yeah, I liked it. Okay, I actually like this song. It fits Roxanne the best. perfect, perfect song for a perfect bitch.
Good chase. I'm hungry for wanna take a bite, take a slice of victory. Watch me history. All eyes on me. Wanna be. Wipe the dirt off your face and get back up off the ground. You can't escape it. It's in your core. What are you waiting for? Boy, you up, don't fall behind. Hey boy, no one likes a loser who cries. So suck it up, you'll never be.
I know that they're using voice lines for the chorus. I know they use at least one voice line for the chorus. For the okay, I just heard myself and I just heard I said it wrong. It's chorus, not chorus. I know that they said that I I know that they use the no friends voice line that like when Roxanne says, "I bet you have no friends." But hold on, hold on, because if they actually use this, does say um because I feel like there's this two voice lines, two voice lines, two voice lines. Okay, my hunch was right. My hunch was right. Apparently, it's a voice line that Roxy says when you walk into Roxy Raceway. Nobody likes a loser. I two voice lines. All right, let's continue.
You'll never know. So you think you're better than me? Like you really matter. Don't matter. Know that I've seen. If I'm not winning, then who will I be? Suck it up, you'll never be the one to overtake my lead.
I actually like that. Okay. Um. Yeah. So no 9.5. I want to give it a 10, but at the same time, it doesn't fit with when they uploaded the song. I'm sorry, Nightcove, if you're watching this, but it's ruin season. Did I ask you? Yeah, it's ruin season, not security breach season. We need stuff that fits ruin. I'm sorry to say that. And I'm gonna create a war. I'm gonna create a war, and I want nobody to trace it back to the source. This no, I'm gonna create two wars. I'm gonna create two wars. They both are gonna be about stuff that the community argues on, or at least I know one of them is something that the community argues on. The other one is just I have no idea if the community argues on this or agrees with this. The thing the thing that I know that I'm not sure if the community argues on or not. Roxanne is the best FNAF waifu. I s- if you guys agree, if you guys argue about that, then fight about it whenever you want. Now, something that I know the community argues on, and look, if I really gotcha, I'm gonna do the middle ground and have them both have separate aftons. Oh, so many people are gonna hate me when I say this. So many people are gonna hate me when I say this. It's Evan Afton, not Chris Afton. Oh god, I just feel like I painted a target on my back. I feel like I just painted a target on my back. But no, that's what I literally call the crying child, Evan Afton. If you want to paint a target on my back, then go ahead. Feel free to. Let's continue with this before. Let's continue with this before we before I just like get a SWAT team at my house. And this is just like his intro before this or before any of his songs. So yeah,
Makes original songs now. So
we can skip this.
Gregory? Where are you, Gregory? Oh, Gregory, don't worry, I'm gonna find you. I'll figure out the space of buzz right beside you. Switch on my walkie-talkie, give me the argue. I'll navigate this pizza flex and Roxy waist-bait tennis shoes. Filthy, sturdy, it's falling apart. Legacy, this breaks my heart. Oh, I loved eating carrot cake, love driving carts. Now there's darkness and danger and thoughts do what's smart. Remember my birthday, you were the only one who came. So I guess it's only right that you're my best friend, so bring on the so hold on tight, I'm coming for you, Gregory, so don't you stress. I'll navigate these empty hallways in this godforsaken pizza place. This Chica, this Monty, this Brandy, Roxanne, they all got corrupted. What happened was tragic. I was such a fan. You reach out to grab it, I still hold your head. I love you, Roxanne. Every birthday is but the plan. You're the last note today, and my heart it will break. Must say, my friend, surely you understand. Gregory, I'm coming. I'm really not far. I put on this mask and I see it.
Okay, either that or I just didn't know what to say. Okay, I understand. I understand that you want to reference the game, but I feel like for some FNAF songs you need to balance. Okay, I just got a mess. Yes, sorry, one of my friends is messaging me. I'm going to send him a link to the stream. Why? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I still okay. Yeah, something that I don't understand is that there's a hurricane. I still don't know how some places are open. As a hurricane is, you know what? I need to stop venting because that's not what we're here for. Now back to this. I get, and I get how you want to reference the game for FNAF songs, but at some point, okay. At some point, you gotta reference something that's not in the game but tied to the game, or just okay. No, that actually never mind. But just start making a full song. Okay, here's something that I would recommend not doing whenever you're making a FNAF song. Make a FNAF song that is just referencing everything that happened in the game. Like this one. All that is doing is just referencing what you had to go through in the game. That is, I mean, sure, it's a good song for if you want to, like, I guess it's a good song for if you just want to, like, if you want, like, a rundown about what happens in Ruin, but still, you are just talking about what happened in Ruin. Okay. I mean, okay. I'm complaining too much. Other than that, it's a pretty good song. Probably gonna rate it lower if I lower than I would rate it if I just enjoyed it. Let's continue before I decide to punch the screen with how mad the song might make me.
Now I'm gonna take out with my matrix. This feels so bizarre. Remember my birthday? You were the only one who cared. So I guess it's only right that I say my best friend. So bring on the fear and the pain. So hold on tight. I'm coming for you, Gregory. So don't you stress. I'll navigate these empty hallways in this
And then that's pretty much a full song. I just wanted to say something that is going to go up against what I said earlier, but also time more. If, and I mean, if you want to make a song that fully references the whole game, reference everything that happened. And guess what? This creator didn't. There was one specific thing that they did to reference, nor like not in the music video, and also not in the lyrics. No, the mimic. He played a big part in the. He played a big part in the game, and they'll decide to not reference him. What is wrong with you? And then another thing, MXCS. You reference AR, like the AR mask, the Veni mask, the Veni system mask, the Glitchtrap wannabe mask. There are so many things I can name this, and some of them are should not be said on stream. But you don't reference the MXCS system, the antivirus, the thing protecting you from the mimic. And like you don't reference that. Some people are calling it actually I want to play on this. There's something funny that I see people calling this trap. Why would Glitch Trap want to protect a kid from another killer robot? Explain that to me. Also, hello, I see somebody new in chat. Hello. But yeah, why would Glitch Trap want to protect another kid from like the mimic or aka another killer robot? And why would Glitch Trap keep that kid alive anyways? The purple AR rabbit is not Glitch Trap. Hi. Yeah, right now I'm just venting to the chat about a part of the like a part of what people call this one character that is very stupid. I'm leaving this up for now while I talk to while I just vent about this, okay? Yeah, that purple rabbit that you see in the that you see with the AR mask, that is not Glitchtrap. That is not William. Because why? No. You want to know something that Glitchtrap does whenever you're in VR or AR? He will corrupt you. Why didn't he corrupt Cassie then? Explain that to me. No explanation? Exactly. Okay. I think I'm done venting now. I hate. Okay, so okay, well, on to the last thing, which yes, you can tell. You can tell. Yeah. Which on to the last thing, which honestly this is not really a love FNAF songs anymore. This last thing is now please. Um this is probably gonna take up most of the stream. Yeah, the stream started 35 minutes ago. This is probably gonna take up most of the stream. uh let's start. Okay, theory. Okay.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, where today it's
Yeah.
the best of times and it's the worst of times. I mean, on one hand, FNAF fans be eating good this month. There's books, there's a teaser for the movie, there's a trailer for Security Breach's Ruin DLC, heck, there's even a brand new FNAF VR sequel that literally got announced as I'm recording this episode. It is all super exciting stuff. I hope you're prepared to engorge yourself in lore like Chica consuming a pizza. It is literally the year of FNAF, which is fitting since it's 2023 and that's the year of FNAF 3. Also,
Haunted attraction, eh? Pretty ironic that you mentioned haunted attraction, since that's what FNAF 3 is. Oh, I know too much about the lore. I know too much about the lore. And chat, you can't say anything about me not knowing too much about the lore because yes, I do know too much about the lore. I know too much about Five Nights at Freddy's in general. At this point, I understand why Scott did not really make a pizza like a pizzeria to promote the movie because you know what? People that know too much about FNAF would most likely want to recreate it. And we can't recreate it. Let's continue.
there is chaos in the theorist community. Buried inside of new material are a lot. I mean, a lot. Beauty of theorizing to reach your own conclusion. Come up with your own personal head canons as part of the internet, and you know what? It's great either way. This time we kind of got to sort of figure it out. What we're talking about today, stuff thing that's coming out right now feels to what the to be. And now with Ruin July,
FNAF community will agree with you. So the FNAF community already don't agree with you. Like your whole theory, and no, I won't let go of this. If you guys already know what theory I'm talking about, I'm sorry. But yeah, your whole theory about how Michael Afton is the crying child. Nobody will forgive you for that. We know who our friends are. Hey, nothing out. All right, let's continue.
eat theorize. And I'm all out of so. Okay, first let me catch you up on the big FNAF drama. Let me set the fans, not this time. Across the three, story after story.
Okay. I just say that I know that one of those. No. Oh no, it wasn't one of those three books. No, it's Tiger Rock. Yeah, Tiger. Okay, one of the FNAF books definitely reference a specific character in Ruin. I remembered which book it was. Never mind.
Habit of things, and let's be honest, why would you when I could just
Sure.
deeds, including bumping off 3 school close to the truth. He also has himself a habit of being really good at the Pizzaplex's arcade games, leaving behind his initial at the top of the game's leaderboards. Now, compare that information to what we get in the games. There's a young boy named Gregory with brown hair and big brown eyes who seems to be Patient 46, a master hacker that's reprogramming the animatronics at the Pizzaplex for evil deeds, including bumping off 3 therapist characters that also seem to be getting too close to the truth. Also has a habit of leaving the letters GGY at the top of the leaderboards at various arcade cabinets throughout the Pizzaplex. Now that right there, that is not counting animatronic toes and striped shirts. That is about as explicit of a one-to-one parallel that you get for this franchise.
Yeah.
So when the story also reveals that Greg's nickname is Rab, Dr. Rabbit, you stand up and take notice. And you know what? The internet sees it. They recognize the connections and how important the books have suddenly become. No longer am I out there on my own little island shouting into the void about using the books to inform our speculation about the lore. Finally, the internet agrees with me. To me, this is a huge step in the right direction in terms of figuring out the wider lore of the franchise. You know, there's just one teeny tiny little problem with this. No one can quite agree just how seriously to take this lore. After years of denying the book's canonicity, there's suddenly been a massive swing of the pendulum the complete other way, where now many pockets of the FNAF community vehemently believe that these most recent stories are fully canon with the games. In other words, we're in an alternate universe where events are similar to the games, but with slight differences. Oh no. Now the debate is all about whether what you read in the books also happened in the Pizzaplex that we play through.
No, 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 no. I would agree that some of the events in the books probably happened in the game before, like the past before you actually get to the game, or just like but there are also some parts of the book that happened in an alternate, like in an alternate dimension. Like for example, Robot Charlie. Yes, I agree that the whole theory about robot children in FNAF could exist, but Robot Charlie, I'm sorry, but if you couldn't tell, like if you decided to not play the games, Charlie's dead. William Afton murdered in cold blood. So if you still believe that the books are full on canon to the games, think again. Anyways, let's continue.
In the games. So before we dive into worms, let's just talk about the stories themselves. I already filled you in on DGY, which means it's time to talk about the other 3, which tell themselves a connected timeline of events, starting with the first, the that are losing their collective minds over. This story tells the tale of Edwin, a genius inventor and single father, and his hyperactive son, David. Basically, Edwin is overworked. Years ago, he sold his struggling robotics company to Fazbear Entertainment, who now has him hard at work turning their, quote, weird costumes into
That was it. Okay. I thought one. No, there's two different books that talk about the mimic. Apparently, it's Nexie and Tiger Rock. I need to get one of those two to learn about who this mimic is, so I can theorize better. I already have a FNAF book. You know what? Let's see if I can grab it. I know I have it. I know I have it. I just don't know if it's in this. Okay, I'm gonna go get it, but let's see who joins while I go get it. Got it. You'd probably expect me to get one of the newer books, like Tales from the Pizzaplex. No, I wanted to get a full-on Fazbear Fright, mainly because I want to know more about Henry. And I full-on bought this book, so yeah, I can read it for as long as I want. Anyways, let's continue.
entertaining robots. With the first one that he's working on, Bright Yellow Chick. There's just one problem here.
Bright yellow chicken. Yeah, chica.
David. David is 4 in all worst ways possible. It means that he's sweet and excitable, but it also means that he's moody and demands a lot of time and attention. Two things that Edwin does not have. So to fix his problem and get himself more work time, Edwin creates a piece of software known as Mimic 1. Using some spare robot parts, he makes a legless endoskeleton do everything that David does. Basically, this thing's an AI that's using David as his training data. And while Mimic 1 starts by merely copying David, pretty soon it's able to respond on its own, independently. And David loves this thing, which means that Edwin is finally able to disappear into his work. Everything seems to be going well until tragedy strikes. An unsupervised David runs out into the middle of a busy highway and is killed. Edwin is devastated, and he takes all his rage out on the Mimic, this robot that continues to behave like his son, infusing the metal of the bot with pure agony. We then
Wait. Wait. When I first heard that story, I thought that the mimic might. I thought that the mimic was. Wait. Can agony and remnant be in the same? Can an animatronic no? Can a soul? I'm already confusing myself with this. Can a soul possess an animatronic that has agony, or is it that or or is it that both remnant and agony is in the mimic? I feel like there's a chance that it might be both. Yeah, I feel like that the reason why the child is still possessing the mimic, or how the child is still possessing the mimic, is because both agony and remnant is still in the mimic. Probably more agony than remnants. And that's how you make them. Okay. I'm confusing myself, so I'm probably confusing you guys too. Let's continue.
Flash forward in time to Edwin being gone, and the mimic roaming the halls of his abandoned home, a brutal killer still in possession of David's childlike tendencies. So, does any of that sound familiar? Cause it should. It's Henry Emily, a genius inventor who helped create the robots of Fazbear Entertainment, a man who also happens to be a single father whose only child dies in a tragic accident when they decide to run outside, a creator whose first project was Chica. Now, that alone would be plenty of connection dots, but the story continues to hammer home the parallels between these two men. In past videos, I've talked a lot about Henry's signature animatronics, the hinged jaws that we see on the original animatronics, as well as the Rockstar animatronics. Well, guess what? This is how Edwin decided to build the mimic. Quote, under the eye housing, Edwin had welded in place a hinged jaw.
Wait. Wait. Oh my god, the book is referencing. I have a book that references Henry, and this book also references Henry. Okay, so listen, if you want a book that has at least one story that references um Henry, Henry Emily, either get the puppet carver, which should have the first story reference Henry in some way, or get Nexi or Mexi, whatever that book is. And you can already see that the Mimic's creator, Edwin, is basically just a stand in for Henry. Oh my gosh.
Speaking of Edwin's robots, do you know what Edwin's first business project was? He made robotic vacuum cleaners, presumably like the ones that we see in FNAF 6. Edwin and Henry even share the same sandy brown hair color. But the other big parallel that the story gives us is when Edwin destroys the
Nexia. Wait. How? Oh my god. Oh my god. It's when. Okay, I think I know what Matt Pat's gonna say. Read the Silver Ice trilogy, especially the last book for that trilogy, and you'll understand this.
Maybe this event is described is very when Henry built the final Charlie bot from the fourth Closet novel. Here's how it's described in Tales of the Pizzaplex. He could almost feel his murderous thoughts pouring through his muscles, transfusing through the metal into mimic systems. And here's what happens when Henry builds the Charlie bot after her death. Quote from that book. When Henry began to make the bear turn to rage, he seethed as he soldered her skeleton together, pouring his anger into the forge where he shaped her very bones. It was not Charlotte drenched in grief, it was made alive with Henry's fury. In both instances, we have men who have instilled their creations, animatronics that are literal stand-ins for their dead kids, with the pain and rage of loss. If that's not a solid connection, I don't know what is. Even from a timeline perspective, Edwin being Henry makes a lot of sense. In the Mimic, they specifically call out that he's 24 years old. After the death of his son, he disappears. But then, in another tale from the Pizzaplex, this one called The Storyteller, we meet up with Edwin 40 years later, at the point it's to franchise to sit on their board of directors. Again, the books make a very specific point to call out all these dates. So why? What's the big deal here? Well, if Edwin is truly the parallel for Henry, Henry lost his daughter Charlie in 1983. We're not exactly sure when he leaves the company, but we definitely know when he comes back, 2023, as evidenced by the numerical code in FNAF 6. 40 years later. A perfect match to the time frame that the books have laid out. In short, Edwin has to be Henry, which means, in a very cool twist, our early franchise timeline was almost perfectly correct. In that video, I said that William Afton's company specialized in hand-sewn mascot suits, and that Henry, when he was brought in, was the one responsible for turning those suits into animatronics. That right there, that was right on the money. I said that one of the two founders had their failing company get bought out. I was just wrong about which one. In that timeline video, I suggested that Afton made Fazbear Entertainment, but eventually ran out of money and had to be bailed out by Henry. But as this story shows, it's actually the other way around.
Okay, I'm not sure how this makes sense, but at the same time it does. Because and a puppet carver basically that business owner basically ran out of money for his company, like his pizzeria. And yeah, so if that business owner, I forgot what the name was. I think it was Jake. No, I think Jake is the one that possesses the stitch race. Honestly, forgot. Um, but if the business owner had to be had to be out, that's Henry, and the person that bails him out will most likely be William. There is some okay. Yeah, I'm just going to continue before I break my mind because we still have three other videos to get to other than this one.
Henry was ultimately the one that was bought out. And in one final parallel between the books and the games, the story actually describes the Fazbear exec that gets Edwin to sign away his business as Portly, which connects all the way back to the Silver Eyes, where Afton was described in a similar way. He was robust and lively, as Henry was withdrawn and shadowy. He was a hefty man who had the ruddy geniality of a financially shrewd Santa Claus. Okay, cool, so we've got some confirmation on some early parts of the franchise, but what does any of this mean for Security Breach? Well, that's where the second Edwin story comes in, the storyteller. In this one, we rejoin Edwin 40 years later. Because of his importance to the early days of Fazbear Entertainment, he now sits on the board of directors, a fact that does not land too well with the current head of the board, Mr. Burrows. Get it? His name's Burrows because everyone's always connected to rabbits. Anyway, to cut costs at the Pizzaplex, Mr. Burrows decides to lay off the entire creative department, instead replacing them with a generative AI that's capable of creating new storylines for all the characters. Basically, this thing is like ChatGPT on steroids. This understandably upsets Edwin, who is an engineering nerd to creative heart of the company. But he's not just a WGA member that's upset about some Writers Guild's rights. What makes matters worse is the fact that Mr. Burrows isn't using just any AI, he's installing Mimic 1.
No! No. Oh no. Wait. 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 There's only two animatronics that will tell a story. One of them being Mr. Hippo, which his stories aren't really dark. The other one is Candy Cadet. I think we know where Candy Cadet gets his stories from now. I hate that. Let's continue.
Created, the one that was trained by his son 40 years prior. When they install it, it even comes in the form of his son's favorite toy, a what? Here's where things start to get real crazy. This AI controls everything in the Pizzaplex. It runs through a large central tree of wires that are connected through the walls, even tapping into things like the animatronic.
I swear, if they say that is, if they say that the mimic stand-in is who I think it is, I'm gonna lose it. I'm pretty sure I watched it. I forgot who the mimic stand-in is supposed to be according to MatPat, but if it's who I think it is, then I'm gonna probably lose it.
Themselves. In fact, once the Mimic 1 program gets installed, the behavior of all the animatronics starts to change from their normal personalities into something that's a bit more like a 4-year-old. They start to become possessive. They get into tug-of-war matches over toys. They sulk in the corner and cry. David is somehow getting infused into everything that this AI touches. Eventually, Edwin attempts to shut the Mimic 1 program down, but he dies in the process. However, in his final moments, he attempts to communicate with his son inside the AI. You see, in the Mimic story, Edwin watches David communicating with his robot buddy using a made-up language described like this. Quote, David and Mimic had been doing all manner of odd little drawing markings that looked vaguely like hieroglyphics. Edwin then uses this same language to communicate with the Mimic software at the end of the storyteller. Quote again, "Every sheet of paper was covered with odd stick drawings and strange symbols that were not at all familiar to Mr. Burroughs. Squiggles, squares, loops, triangles within triangles." So why is this story such a big deal right now in the FNAF community? Well, everyone knows it's important, it's just that no one can truly settle on what it's trying to say. Which means it's time for me to do my best to try and break it all down. Now, I've already mentioned the parallels between Edwin and Henry, but what that also suggests is that Edwin's son David may just be an analog for Henry's only child, Charlie. Not that they're one and the same or following the exact chain of events, but rather that where David goes in the books, we should be looking for Charlie to follow in the games. And in the story, the Mimic One winds up controlling.
I get this is before Ruin, so and we still don't know that much about the Mimic other than the book, so I will give you that. But we don't have enough proof that the Mimic is possessed by, like Charlie is possessing the Mimic. To be honest, I thought everybody's soul moved on in the FNAF 6 Fire, but hey, William came back. He always comes back. Okay, I'm just gonna continue.
Controlling the pizza animatronics via an intricate system of wires. Is the book suggesting that we should probably be looking for Charlie to be doing the same thing in the games? And wouldn't you know it, but there is a lot of evidence to suggest exactly that. Throughout Security Breach, there are wires everywhere. Black and white striped wires that look very similar to everyone's favorite possessed puppet, Charlie. There are also the staff bots roaming around looking like a twisted version of the puppet. We also see several unexplained Nightmare-owned plushies hidden in strange locations throughout the building, again suggesting that an angry version of Charlie may just be at work within the walls of the building. During my complete timeline, I suggested that the reason we were seeing so much puppet imagery throughout the Pizzaplex is because Charlie's possessing the building poltergeist style. Just like the house in that movie is possessed by angry spirits, the Pizzaplex is haunted by Charlie because it's built on the location of the fire. Basically, her physical form may be gone, but her spirit is still going to haunt the building until Afton is destroyed. And again, I think that this latest story confirms that I was close about the what, but not necessarily about the how. Still very much here, but it's not a haunting, it's technological. And look at this. The wires are even formed in such a way that they look like the trunk and branches of a tree, exactly the way the Mimic's wires are described to run through the Pizzaplex in the book. Just like David's consciousness infected everything in the Pizzaplex during the Tale story, so too is Charlie infecting everything in the Pizzaplex of the games. But that's not all. Remember that in the book, Edwin uses an elaborate code of symbols, sticks, and shapes to communicate with his son inside of the Pizzaplex. It's designed as an elaborate code of triangles within triangles. That right there, that is the wall code in Security Breach's secret room. Remember that one? If not, here's the abbreviated translation. Break and mend, I built breath. They hunt now, drawn to life. The storyteller here is giving us a clue that this wall code, these triangles within triangles, they were written by Henry. How? When? Not sure. Honestly, we hadn't even considered him as a possible person to have written this because he was supposed to be dead fire. But if you look at the text with him in mind, the pieces all fit. Henry did build the breath. He was the creator of the animatronics. And in all stories about Henry, we hear about him repurposing old robotic parts. He is breaking and mending them. But midway through, this coded message starts to switch tones. It starts giving instructions. Quote again. Dodge, duck, flash, shoot, crawl, run, crush the vile band. Your life, your aim will save those with soul. He's teaching someone their mission. He's giving some robotic AI their instructions, just like Edwin was trying to communicate with the AI in the book. It is their task to save those with soul. But look specifically at the verbs that are written here, especially shoot and flash. This one has to be talking to Gregory. Not only is he the one that's crushing the vile band of the Pizzaplex, all of those actions are things that he performs in the game. He is the only one shooting with the Faz Blaster. He is the only one flashing with the Faz Cam. It seems the last failsafe against Fazbear may have built a protector using an AI program and spoke to it using his triangle within triangle code. And that protector has to be Gregory. I know, I can't let Robot Gregory go, I get it. But how else do you explain this? No one else is flashing and shooting. And remember, the story GGY confirms to us that Gregory is patient 46, whose secret therapy tapes are played right next to where this code is in the very same room. Everything in this one room is screaming that the message is for Gregory, written in a code that the books tell us is reserved for robot brains. But this then raises two major questions. First, how could I say that Gregory's a robot when we see him in GTY as just a kid at school. And second, why it makes it clear that Gregory is a villain, hacking into the animatronics and using them to kill people.
Apparently, all 3 of your former therapists have gone missing. Or 2 of them are missing. One of them was found dead. The woman's pretty messed up. It looked like it was mangled by machinery.
Gregory's pen name for a large portion of the book is Dr. Rabbit, for crying out loud. If that doesn't scream, oh, by the way, I'm also working for Afton, I don't know what. He even calls himself the wizard's most favorite apprentice. So how can I say that he's working for Henry when it's very clearly being told to us that he's also working for William? Well, first off, we never actually see confirmation that he's a human in the books. In fact, we largely get the opposite. Gregory is actually described in the book as, quote, an unfamiliar kid who looked a little lost at the start of the school year. So there's no past with this kid, no growing old together with a group of friends. He just appeared out of nowhere one day. What's more, whenever friends do something, he reacts in a very robotic way. He cocks his head and he has a weird pause in his behavior. Is that a lot to go off of? No. But also nothing about him explicitly says that he's necessarily human, or that he's just the reluctant follower of Afton. But obviously the bigger question here is how? How can he be both a protector bot and an agent of Afton at the same time? This is also a question that's raised in the books. If GGY is saying that Gregory and Glitchtrap are in control of the animatronics, but then the storyteller is saying that an AI version of Charlie is controlling the animatronics, who's actually in control here? Both of these stories feel understanding Security Breach's lore, and yet they seem to contradict each other. So what is going on? Well, for that answer, we actually have to go to the trailer for the new Security Breach DLC, Ruin. In the last few seconds of footage for this new game, we see a glitching techno rabbit, glitching between 2 colors, green and purple. This effect is known as chromatic aberration, which is when the lens of a camera is unable to focus the different colors of light into the exact same point. Usually you see this sort of thing with red and blue, sometimes red and green. Purple and green is not usually the natural color combination for this sort of effect, which means that it's trying to tell us something. And this isn't the only time we see it. If you go over to securitybreachtv.com, which has been the go-to location for all online teasers for these games, the website has the steel wool logo down in the corner, glitched again between purple and green. Not only that, they're reverses of each other. Not just reflections, but actually facing in opposite directions. Well, we know that purple is always going to be the villain color. It's evil. That is a given for this franchise. But green, that then, is probably the opposite color, the hero color. And while Elizabeth, with her signature green eyes, what effect is more likely is that the green is Charlie, the color of the security puppet's eyes, the color of the wristband that she was wearing the night that she died, all green. So within Gregory, and honestly within all of these animatronics, there's a capacity for both good and evil. Glitchtrap is in the code, obviously, he's purple, but there's also a force for good, Charlie, in there as well as green. And what we're playing through is a battle between these two to ultimately decide who wins. That's why the tiger head and the Tales from the Pizzaplex story has 2 differently colored. It shows 2 forces at work within the same program. This also explains why throughout the game, the other animatronics are getting corrupted, but why Glamrock Freddy isn't. He's booted in safe mode. The storyteller establishes that all the animatronics are hooked into the computer network that controls the Pizzaplex. By glitching out and then rebooting in safe mode, Glamrock Freddy is separated from that system, as well as any sort of corruption that's happening within it. And just like that, it crystal clear. The reason we have 2 stories telling us about 2 different sources of control over the animatronics in the Pizzaplex isn't because Scott changed his mind or because Steel Wool didn't get the memo. It's because Ruin is literally going to be a battle for control. The forces of evil, Glitchtrap, versus the forces for good, Charlie. One who wants to kill kids and use their souls to gain eternal life, and another who wants to put it all to rest and protect those who can still be saved. And Gregory is stuck there in the middle, both of them existing inside of him. Like he says himself at the end of the trailer,
"Don't give up on me yet."
but hey, that's
Pat, how wrong you are. No, the goal is to save Gregory, but ends up not being Gregory. Anyways, this stream has been going on for long, so we are gonna just do the most recent FNAF theory since I haven't fully watched it. And then we're gonna theorize on it. That makes a lot of sense.
a portion of today's episode is sponsored by him. I have one question for you. Why? Why is he here? He was randomly introduced in Security Breach, and sure, he managed to deliver one of the hardest, scariest parts of that game, but really ask yourself, what or who is this thing? In a series that doesn't do coincidences, one already full of a core band of animatronics with old and new faces, as well as deep-cut returns like the Music Man, why introduce a completely random character completely disconnected from everything else? Honestly, I wasn't sure, and I didn't really talk about it in my theories for Security Breach, but it definitely bugged me in the back of my mind. And now, here he is again in Ruin, and not only is he back, he's got more collectibles than literally any other character. 4 masks, 2 pinatas, 2 plushies, and 2 golden plushies, which is especially strange when main characters like Roxy and Chica only have like 1 or 2 items tops. What is the deal with this thing? Well, give him a nice close-up look. And now, watch the clip of the Mimic from the end of the game. You see anything interesting? It's the teeth. The teeth are the same, each one individually attached and able to articulate itself. Eclipse, in some way, is related to the Mimic. And knowing how old the Mimic is, step aside there, Chica. Eclipse was the first. He truly seen everything. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, a show that has valid theories, no eggs required.
My theory is the valid theory. Matt can suck an egg!
This one's for you, Mark. Digging deep into the ruins of Security C, where we started to chip away at this game's mountain of mysteries. In the process, we were able to come to a few solid conclusions. First, that Princess Quest was the canon ending, meaning Vanessa was ultimately freed from the control of Glitch Trap, and everyone celebrated the victory by eating oddly symbolic ice creams on a hill. Also meant that this headless Freddy with the word prototype on his foot, it was indeed Gregory's Freddy. But perhaps the biggest twist of all was that underneath the rubble, underneath the Pizzaplex in FNAF 6, hid the one and only Circus Baby's Pizza World. This revelation was huge. Not only did it suggest that Circus Baby's has been around since some of the earliest days of the franchise, but I think it also reveals what the true purpose of Ruin is. This game isn't about looking at the future of the franchise, instead, it's all about the past. I believe that Ruin is trying to tie up the loose ends from parts of the franchise we left forgotten. That way, we can move forward with later games. And so today we're going to be diving into that past, because that history is going to be the key to understanding mixes, Sun and Moon,
Wait, hold on. I just wanted to talk about that. Steel wool. Steel wool, if you're trying to tie up loose ends about the past, I just want to say something. One of the next games needs to be about the foundation of Freddy's. That needs to happen. I don't care what you have to say. One of the next games needs to be about the foundation of Freddy's. I'm gonna continue.
truth behind glamour protagonist Cassie. So hold on to your nearest handrail, theorists. This elevator is taking a one-way trip straight to the first floor. Or should I say we're taking a trip straight to the first floor? I could say that, but I probably shouldn't. That's a really terrible joke. Anyway, let's start off by talking about our new protagonist, Cassie. Even though we spend a whole game with her, we ultimately don't learn all that much about her. Basically, we learn 2 things. She's a fan of Roxy, and she's got some real bad luck with vents.
This vent is creaky. I really hope it... Look, no more vents. Every single time I get in one, it breaks or something jumps out at me.
We also know that no one showed up for her birthday party.
Have you booked your party? I'm sure your friends will show up this time.
Well, no one except for Gregory, which is why she's so determined to save him. It's kind of cute. But aside from that, there's not a whole lot else about her. In fact, in an odd twist, we actually learn more about her dad than we do about her.
A fast wrench. It's just like my dad's.
And it's not just in random throw.
Plot twist. Plot twist. Plot twist, and hear me out. Hear me out. Plot twist, and I think the community is gonna hate me for this. There are only 3 people in the franchise that know how animatronics work. And now this is probably gonna throw a wrench in the whole Glamax theory. And I'm sorry. Those 3 people are William, Henry, and Michael. William, we already know that his children. Henry, we already know his children, so there's only one person that knows. I'm gonna hate this. There's only one other person that we already know in the lore that knows how animatronics work. That would be Michael. So yeah, when Cassie said fast rinse, just like my dad's, I want to think that maybe the fast rinse was created before the FNAF 6 fire, and Michael used it a bit. Am I pushing this theory? Yes, I am. Is the whole community probably going to hate me for that theory? Most likely. Is a bunch of the community going to hate me for when I said that the crying child is Evan Afton? Yes. Let's continue before I start another war.
Away lines either. Thanks to the AR collectibles found throughout the game, we get a ton of information about Cassie's father, that her dad used to collect old Freddy and Friends lunchboxes, that Bonnie was his favorite character, that he refused to tell Cassie why.
Okay, never mind what I said. Never mind what I said about Michael. Never mind what I do not. We are never going back to that. We are not going back to that. Never mind. It might be one of Michael's friends, but Michael is not a Mike. Okay, I hate Michael. Michael's favorite or past favorite animatronic is Fox. Like was Foxy. It's not Bonnie. Oh wait, hold on. And then I'm pretty sure
Freddy and
that,
Friends
Bonnie
lunchboxes, that Bonnie was his.
Yeah, but Bonnie was Cassie's dad's favorite. I hate that.
Favorite character, that he refused to tell Cassie why Bonnie got replaced. And notice how every line describing him is written in the past tense, implicitly telling us that her dad is no longer around. There is a lot in here. It would be fine if she just offhandedly mentioned her dad once, but the fact that Steel Wool has put multiple references in here means that this character has to be important in some way. But how? And more importantly, why? Well, for Cassie to say that her Faz wrench is just like her dad's makes it pretty darn obvious that he not only worked for Fazbear Entertainment, but he was also a technician. Throughout the years, we've encountered technicians, mostly in the books. They're usually adjusting rides, fixing animatronics, nothing too exciting. However, there is one set of technicians that has gone long forgotten in the game series. That's right, way back in Sister Location, we got to see actual humans in this series, only for them to quickly get Sayori'd out of the picture. Heck, we even got to hear these guys.
Just seems like these things can't go a day without breaking down.
I'm not saying that Cassie's dad is one of the two men that we hear talking or see hanging, but the ending's connections to Sister Location, plus the trailer for Help Wanted 2 featuring the Sister Location elevator and an electric panel like the ones that we see throughout Ruin, it all leads me to believe that her father was one of these sorts of technicians, one of the technicians that worked as a part of Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals. In fact, I suspect that he's the one we'll be playing as in that new game, Help Wanted 2, coming out later this year. As the trailer says,
Oh, that actually makes sense. Yeah, because we know Cassie. So, yeah, we might just be playing as Cassie's dad. Okay, that'll make a lot more sense. Let's continue.
Welcome back for another week of Korean and minimal social interaction.
clearly this is someone who's been down here before, and the facility in the game is working and operational. Notice the lack of yellow danger tape found at the bottom of the elevator shaft. We're gonna be joining him for a few days on the job, which in turn should give us the backstory for the events that we're seeing play out during the ending of Ruin. Maybe even witnessing the moment that they had to seal up the Mimic. In fact, I'll take it one step further. Now, this one is a long shot, but I suspect that he and Cassie might wind up united down there in the bunker at the end of all of this. You see, even though Cassie speaking about her father in the past tense implies that he's dead, I don't think that that's actually the case. I think he just went missing. Look at these two item descriptions. The first is for the AR Bonnie mask, which reads, "What happened to you?" You might interpret that to be, "What happened to you, Glamrock Bonnie?" But that's not true. First, this is an AR mask of the original Bonnie. It's a mask first seen in Help Wanted 1 as part of the Trick or Treat minigame. It actually far predates the Pizzaplex. But secondly, and more importantly, Cassie actually knows the truth about what happened to Glamrock Bonnie. She knows that it was Monty Gator who eliminated him from the picture. In a later item description, this time for the AR Glam Monty description reads, "It's hard to look at. Why? Why would the only Monty item that Cassie can collect in the entire game be so hard to look at?" Well, it's because she knows what he did. She knows that Monty's guilty, violent, responsible for trashing Glamrock Bonnie. And as a result, Cassie has a hard time looking at him the same way again.
Wait. Oh my god, that actually. Oh. So, I've been assuming Cassie's dad was dead. Cassie's dad might just be missing with Help Wanted to. Cassie, I think I know what happened to your father, and all I'm gonna say is that 1985 all over again. If you don't get it based off of the FNAF lore, read the first FNAF Fazbear Fright book, or at least try to find some sort of video about it. Oh, it's called Into the Pit.
So, line "What happened to you" isn't about Glamrock. Who is it about? Well, it's about her dad. He disappeared one day and they don't know where or why. That's why she refers to him in the past tense. But that then leads us to another question. Why is she reminded of him with that particular item, the Bonnie mask? Just because Bonnie was his favorite? No. I suspect it's because her father wore that Bonnie mask. And not only did he wear it, he wore it during the single most infamous scene in the entire franchise, the Bite of 83.
No! No! I said this earlier in the stream, or I thought about saying it, but then was like, nah, that is probably not going to be true. Oh my gosh. Cassie's dad, according to MatPat, is Michael's friend. Oh no. No, 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 no. Let's continue, but oh no.
Was that the Bite of 87?
No, Mark, no, it wasn't. My theories are the only valid theories. You go lick a stick. I'm saying that Cassie's dad is the Bonnie bro. Now, that at first might seem like a stretch, but again, remember what prompts the memory of her father. An old mask of the original Bonnie, just like Bonnie bro wore on that fateful day all those years ago. Notice what's missing from these collectibles. You have a Bonnie mask and a Foxy mask, but no Freddy, no Chica mask. It's suspicious, right? Like, why? Why would Steel Wool...
No Freddy or Chica mask, eh? It's almost like the only two alive bullies still have their mask. Let's continue.
Includes such a random and, more importantly, incomplete collection of memorabilia. It's clearly them trying to tell us something, that this mask is connected to the Foxy mask, the one that Michael wore during the Bite of 83. What's more, Cassie's dad is clearly established to be a massive fan of the Freddy's franchise. One of the collectibles in Ruin are these cute little Freddy and Friends lunchboxes that we're told he used to collect. Now, Freddy and Friends was a cartoon series created by Steel Wool to help promote the release of Security Breach a couple years ago. It was animated in the style of old Hanna-Barbera, similar to things like Scooby-Doo, Yogi Bear, The Flintstones, old shows that actually started in the late 60s but remained popular throughout the 70s and the 80s. Dates that very nicely line up with Fredbear's Family Diner being open. And that's not all the proof we have here. Notice how these lunchboxes have a classic metal design with a metal handle on top? They're very similar to designs that we saw popular for kids' lunchboxes that existed between the 50s and the 80s. But here's the thing, we don't even need to go as far as masks and lunchboxes and cartoons. Pull up Cassie, pull up Bonnie, bro. Can you guess where I'm going with this? Can you?
Yes.
If only there were a way that I could just, I don't know, just visualize the design symbol between these two. How can I do it? Oh, I know. Hey, editors, do you reckon you could whip up something for me? Maybe something that connects the red shirt, blue shorts, brown hair, maybe the darker skin tone of these two characters? Yes! Beautiful! It's like a work of art. Pièce de résistance. I mean, really, what more proof do you need of this? Then brings us back to the question of why. Why pick Bonnie Bro, of all people? Just for the Easter egg? A random reference to a past character? I don't think that's it. For 9 years now, FNAF has been the story of one family, the Aftons. This was their tale. Their lives, their mistakes, their deaths, their resurrections, all of it culminating in that FNAF 6 fire. But with the introduction of characters like Bonnie Bro as Cassie's father, we're being told that we need to widen our scope, not just focus on the Aftons, but rather to those around them. I still believe FNAF 1 through 6 is the Afton story, but this new era of FNAF, it's about how the actions of the Aftons during their story affected the people. The ripple effects, the collateral damage. Bonnie Bro was just a kid who grew up loving Bonnie, loved watching the show made by his best friend's dad. But when that friend, Michael Afton, roped him into a prank that went horribly wrong, he never lived it down. He went on to study robotics and become a technician so that it would never happen. And Ruin just keeps on up the past, because now I want to talk about arguably the most confusing character across.
Before we go on to Eclipse, yes, that's what I'm calling the new daycare attendant, because that's its actual name, Eclipse. That actually makes sense about what he said about the Bonnie mask being not only Michael's friend, because that's what we see in FNAF 4, but also Cassie's father. But still, Cassie's father is missing. So, yeah. But yeah, all that we have to do for the new FNAF games is widen our scope to not just focus on the Aftons. Like now what we need to do is just to focus on Clara's friends, William's friends. Actually, we already focused on William's friends. Wait, we already focused on William's friend. Yeah, we already focused on Henry. What? And yeah, I'm calling Henry William's only friend because that makes sense. Prince 2023. But yeah, we also need to focus on Elizabeth's friends, Evan's friends, and more of Michael's friends. Now let's see what Matt Pat wants to say about Eclipse.
The entire franchise, Eclipse. Tell you about something else that has a long history. Today's sponsor, Delta 19. But this series first, they've got that in, puts an emphasis vengeance on anyone that crosses against other players to find out who you. I'm not where you'll be able to. So if you game yourself, are playing on, you can experience a low to the perseverance of someone else. A character from FNAF this time, the day. In general, Sun and Moon, they just don't work. They're a court jester, which makes sense inside of a castle-themed daycare, but not in the whole 80s-tastic, futuristic pizzaplex. So where did this thing come from? Well, underneath this terrifying mask is a set of robotic teeth. And those aren't just any teeth, they're made to move independently. Now, that might not seem like that important of a design, but believe me, There's only one other character with teeth like that, and it's the Mimic. Now take another look at Eclipse's design. It's a scrawny design with arms and torso that are basically just long metal rods with springs wrapped around them. And when you take a look at the back of the head, you'll
Wait. Springs wrapped around a metal rod. What does that sound like? The first thing that came to my mind was spring locks. Don't ask me why. So is Eclipse just another spring lock animatronic? I don't think I want to know. Actually, never mind. No, I was wrong, because if it was a spring lock animatronic, then wouldn't Fazbear Incorporated already have a lawsuit by now? And not just all the other lawsuits I talked about, a lawsuit based around the daycare attendant? Thank you. But I mean, let's see what MapHat is gonna say.
You'll see a circuit board just there, out in the open. The design feels simple, rudimentary, very bare bones, just like the Mimic, who's made up of old parts from industrial machines. Two animatronics made from the same basic shapes and parts. Now, am I saying that Eclipse? But what I am saying is that these animatronics seem to come from the same time period. A time period that predates everything that we've seen in this franchise. How early are we talking about here? Well, for the answer, again, I turn your attention to the AR collectibles. Well, playing through the game, I just couldn't shake how random the collection was. I've talked about this before. A Foxy and Bonnie mask partnered with a Sun and Moon mask. Where's Freddy and Chica? A similar thing happens with the golden plushies. You got Sun Moon, Foxy, Bonnie, Baby, and Glamrock Freddy. So weird assortment, but again, there's no Chica. Or you got the pinatas. There's just 3 of them. Sun Moon and Bonnie. Not labeled Glamrock Bonnie, just Bonnie. It's almost like the game is trying to tell us something with all these random groupings and...
Oh. I have an idea. I have a theory, a game theory. But it's a theory. Now, I've already thought about this before. We have Glamrock Freddy and Chica. And thanks to Ruin, we know what happened to Glamrock Bonnie. Sound familiar? Freddy, Bonnie, Chica. Only one's missing, Foxy. So there may be a Glamrock Foxy that we do not know what happened to. This proves that in a specific way, because bear with me. Before Roxanne, Monty, Freddy, and Chica were made, there was just Foxy, like Glamrock Foxy, Glamrock Bonnie, Sun and Moon. Maybe they were just supposed to entertain everybody until their replacements arrived. And then Foxy just went missing. Bonnie got decommissioned by Monty. And then Sun and Moon got moved to the daycare. And that made way for all the other animatronics. Freddy, Monty, Chica, and Roxy. That would make sense. If it doesn't make sense to you, then I don't know what to say. Let's continue.
Which animatronics are present where. And I suspect that what we're actually seeing here are the eras of the franchise and the key players that existed in each one. And the one who came first, Sun and Moon. You'll notice that of all the collectibles, there are 2 that are visibly unique relative to all the others. A collection of 2 masks that stand out from the rest. The comedy mask and the tragedy mask. They have no eye or mouth holes. They're not even colored. And the fact that they're labeled comedy and tragedy and not Moon tells us that these weren't just any masks, they were old theater masks. You're probably familiar with these things. The laughing and crying masks. Well, you see, the tradition of theater masks actually originates in ancient Greek theater. These evolved from rituals that involved masks, so it was natural for actors to wear masks that represented these heightened emotions that their characters were feeling. And while I don't think that Sun and Moon date back nearly that far, I do suspect that these masks were actually Afton's first creations. For years, we've been left to speculate about a time that came before Fredbear's Family Diner, and I did my best in the Ultimate Timeline to piece together a plausible narrative for what would bring Afton to create Fazbear based on the evidence that we had available. But I think that these AR collectibles are Steel Wool's willing us that journey. Look at the evolution that's present here. Comedy and tragedy masks. They're the first. They're part of some theater or vaudeville style sideshow. Then you go to Sun, Moon, and Bonnie Pinatas. A third new character gets added into the mix. Afton's character, the Bunny. Then there are 4 masks. Still Sun and Moon, then Bonnie, and then Foxy. There's no Freddy or Chica because they're not here yet. They didn't join the band, as it were, until William and Henry started working together. It's then, and only then, when Henry brings his barnyard animals to the table, Chica, Pigpatch, happy to see the Lunchbox crew develop. The core 4 that we've known and loved since FNAF 1. And then the AR plushies are just everyone who's currently relevant inside of the Pizzaplex, i.e. every character that's been created. As for the golden plushies, I'm not quite sure what they're meant to be. That one remains to be seen. Regardless, that progression of character development would explain why Afton's solo adventure after the closure of Freddy's was circus-themed. He's had himself a jester and jester-adjacent characters for years. Though I would like to very strongly that a jester and circuses are not one and the same thing. A clown is not a jester, and a jester is not a clown who works at a circus. A jester is someone who entertains royalty, a king and a queen. He does not work under a big top coming out of a small car. And don't even get me started on the fact that everyone's teasing this new game, Carnival themed, which again, carnivals are not circuses and circuses are not jesters. You're all just trying to retroactively fit them into these themes where they don't technically. Honestly, probably tells you more about the lore than you would expect. It's actually kind of smart world building. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Anyway, we know thanks to the Tales from the Pizzaplex that a jester costume was present all the way back when the original Mimic was made. Quote, Dominic's flashlight glow picked out a brown Freddy Fazbear costume, a yellow Chica costume, a Foxy costume, a Bonnie costume, and a couple bright pink and yellow-green court jester costumes. And it's clear that the jester idea persisted throughout all of Afton's plans, because in the epilogues of the Tales from the Pizzaplex book, we also read this, quote again, as soon as Lucia's hand slipped into the jester costume sleeve, she recoiled and snapped back. What is it? Kelly asked. I just almost got into it. The jester costume developed from just a normal costume into a spring-lock suit. Suits, which were definitely used in circus world.
Try not to wiggle, though.
Oh no! I forgot about that. Oh wait. Wait. Okay, so there is a slight chance that wait. Because we don't really see a jester costume in security breach, so does that mean 2 things could have happened? Number 1, no, 3 things. Number 1, the jester one could have been destroyed. Number 2, the jester costume probably got stolen. Number 3, the jester costume was used in Sis location. Oh, I hate this. 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 Let's continue before I come up with some elaborate theory that is not going to help out.
You're inside something that came from my old pizzeria.
Spring lock?
I don't think it was ever used. I'd recommend that you keep the spring locks wound up.
The spring-lock suit in the epilogue also has a mask that matches up almost perfectly with our daycare attendant. One final quote. Lucia stepped up to the costume, suppressing a shiver at the jester's leering, toothy grin and its wide eyes. And the best part is, thanks to the Mimic, I think I can pinpoint exactly when he started and eventually fell through. I decided to look a little deeper into the room just before the Mimic chase. It's an old room filled with shattered security nodes, propane tanks, and the Mixis hub, all connected to a computer which we can use to free the Mimic. Now, the majority of people have been assuming that Mixis is Gregory's doing. His backpack is down there after all, and the Mimic has his walkie-talkie, but something just didn't add up to me. The computer controlling the Mixis server is way, way older than any of the other technology that we see throughout the Pizzaplex. We've got camera galleries, modern office spaces, even portable security camera viewing stations. important system for keeping the killer robot under lock and key is using only an old CRT monitor? Yeah, no, that doesn't feel right to me. And this computer isn't just any computer, its design matches those from the 1980s. Specifically, it reminds me of the IBM PC-JR, computers that were released in, get this, 1984. Mixes has been around for a long time, trying to keep the Mimic locked away, but why? Well, I think I have an answer to that. An answer that also gives us an explanation for why Mixes shows itself as a blue rabbit. See, I don't think Afton only copied physical characteristics from the Mimic to make animatronics like Eclipse. I think he also took its software to speed up his creation process. I think that this was able to populate Circus Baby's Pizza World with the Funtime animatronics. As John from the channel FNAF has been quick to point out time and time again, almost all of the Funtimes have themselves a very specific function. They have the ability to mimic voices. Just like John, I too believe that Afton got that functionality from the Mimic program itself. Tragic death of his son during the bite of 1983, Afton needed a backup plan, something that he could build fast, just in case the Fazbear name was permanently tarnished. So he went back to the Mimic program and made a copy of its software, transferring it into his newest creations, hoping that they would be able to learn routines much faster. He could then give them stomach hatches and other features to help him capture kids, all to forward his experiments in bringing his son back to life. Everything looked like it was going according to plan, but sadly, we know what happened. His daughter got too close to one of his traps and was killed. Afton was obviously devastated by this and shut the whole thing down. The Mimic program had failed spectacularly. He sealed up the old location with concrete, and as a safety measure, he created a new program that would keep the Mimic locked away permanently. A system wrapped in his signature purple, guarded by the one creature that he could trust, the rabbit Bonnie. And so Mixes was born. That then gives us two separate Mimics, one inside Baby and the Funtimes, ready to be collected by Fazbear Entertainment, and the other still trapped down in the basement. This would actually go a long way to explain a weird moment from the middle of Ruin, where Helpy and the Mimic argue with one another.
Okay, so basically understanding, he basically accidentally created an army of mimics, either accidentally or purposely. No, purposely, because they were supposed to kill children. And that army of mimics is the fun times, but of course you know what happened to we know what happened when the fun times were created. Sinister as the end draws near, typical as the reality will burn and wither. Tragedy is drawn to the bitter. Let's just continue.
What happened to it? Yeah, with my help.
They're both Mimic AI, so what exactly is going on here? Well, it's two versions of the same program finally in the same place after so long. Helpy is the Mimic program in the network, while the Mimic talking to Cassie is the physical Mimic down in the basement. It's possible, it's confusing, and I suspect it might just be right. Guess all in a day's work for FNAF lore, am I right? But hey, that's just a theory.
Alright. Yeah, I'm with what Matt has said, I'm pretty sure that a bunch of that is right. Especially the fact that we have to look out for all of these friends. Alexa, stop. We have to look out for the Athens friends now. Just because the Aftons created a ripple effect that affected their. We have to watch out for Clara's friends, Evan's friends, Elizabeth's friends, Michael's friends, William's friend, Henry. We have to look out for all of the Afton's friends. Oh, that means you have to look out for Henry's friends too. Oh, I hate this. Okay. Anyways, that'll be all for the stream. Probably the next thing that's gonna be uploaded is the next part of Can We Just Talk? Either that or I'm just gonna be bored and upload something random. But hey, if you like this, please leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you later. Bye.